everyone, it's John from What Up, and welcome back to another video. And I have a special treat for you folks tonight. I'm going to review The Origins of the Wheel of Time by Michael Livingston. Now, the people over at Tor were kind enough to send me an advanced reader's copy so I could do this particular review. So I read it when I got it on Friday, and then I read it again over the weekend, and then I read it again today because I wanted to do this review justice. Now, for those of you that are new to the channel and you don't know what we normally do here, we cover Wheel of Time show news and anything and everything to do with the Wheel of Time. That's why we're talking about this brand new Wheel of Time book. Now, the rest of this video is going to be completely spoiler-free. Of course, since the book hasn't released yet, it does not come out until November 8th. And in fact, if you folks want to pre-purchase it or buy it after it's out, the link to do so is down below in the description box. So I'm not going to ruin anything from the book itself. No specifics. We won't talk about any of the passages or things written in it. None of the secrets it has, because there are a couple of secrets in there too, which are really interesting to a lot of Wheel of Time fans. But I will talk about my thoughts and feelings in very general terms about certain sections of the book and what I think, or who I think rather, this book is written for. And I'll give it a rating out of 5 at the end of the video. Now, I'm also not going to spoil anything from the Wheel of Time series, so if you haven't read the full book series by Robert Jordan, that's Eye of the World right through Memory of Light, don't worry about it. I'm not going to talk anything specific about that series either, so if you're a reader or a fan, you're only partway through, or if you only maybe watched a show or two out of the series, don't worry about it. I won't spoil anything from either medium in this video either. Again, completely spoiler-free. Feel free to press on, and you won't have anything ruined for you. All right, so we're talking about this book here. This is The Origins of the Wheel of Time by Michael Livingston, and it's a doozy of a book. I really thoroughly enjoyed it, but we'll get to that in a second. First, we'll ask ourselves, who is Michael? Well, Michael is a professor at the Citadel, and the Citadel is Robert Jordan's alma mater. All of that is explained in the book in great detail, but Michael is a well-respected academic. He's the Secretary General of the U.S. Commission of Military History. He's written a ton of academic papers on military history. He's a medieval battle expert, and he's written his own fantasy series as well. So he's very uniquely qualified to tackle something of this nature. And we're going to get into, what is this book? Well, there's been a bunch of Wheel of Time books and companions released. So you have New Spring, which is the prequel novel, the main series, The Eye of the World through Memory of Light, 14 books. You have the Wheel of Time Companion. This was released in the last couple of years. Basically gives you a very in-depth look at in-world characters. So all of the stuff inside the series. You want to know more about Perrin, for example. It talks about Perrin's character and how he fits in the series and different things that went on. We have these. So you have this book here, Robert Jordan's The World of Wheel of Time. That's the newer edition. And then, of course, you have the older edition, the White Book. Both of those, again, expand upon things that are in-world. They talk about the characters, places, battles, history, things like that that all relate to the book series. Now, this book doesn't do that. It's a little bit different. It talks about real-world things. Now, the book is in 4 sections. It's about 235 pages long, and it's split roughly between the first half of this book is history. So it talks just a bit about a bunch of different things. So there's a foreword by Harriet. Michael talks a bit about his life and how he came to write the book. And then we talk about Jordan's life after that. So there's a big section on Jordan's life. Talks about him from when he was a child all the way up through to writing the Wheel of Time. Talks about Jordan, how Jordan wrote the Wheel of Time, and how he compared to Tolkien, a bunch of other history stuff. So a history lesson on basically Jordan's life and the Wheel of Time. A really, really interesting read. I really loved it. I'm not going to lie. I read through that section multiple times. I may have teared up in a couple of different spots. Very powerful, emotional stuff in there. And I learned a lot of brand new things. I'm an avid Wheel of Time fan. I thought I knew the author. I thought I knew the history. There's some new stuff there. There's a lot of stuff there that I didn't know. Definitely worth reading if you like history, if you like the backstory between different things, if you like knowing the nuts and bolts behind how things came to be in the inception of the Wheel of Time. This book is definitely for you. Now, the second half of the book is essentially another glossary of terms. It's not quite like the companion, because the companion talks about in-world stuff. This talks about real-world stuff. So it talks about how certain characters came to be. So, for example, we'll use Perrin again. Perrin Ibera. It talks about where the name came from, where Jordan got the inspiration for the character, which histories, which classics, what things influenced him to make that character. And it talks about a ton of different stuff in that section, whether they be characters, whether they be places, whether they be battles, objects of power, where Jordan came with these ideas and how they came to fruition. Absolutely amazing and just super interesting. I went through it a whole bunch of times. Now, in addition to all of this, there is a bunch of full color photos inside, photos of the manuscripts, photos of things that inspired Jordan. There is a brand new map. Now, the map itself is the World of Wheel of Time map, so it's Randland's map, but it's updated. So it's not quite the same as the one you're used to seeing. Now, this map's already been released by Tor. People have seen it, but they took Jordan's notes because Jordan did know the map that was in the books was wrong, and they used his notes to update the maps to more reflect what is accurate in his notes. There's a lot of surprising stuff in this book. There's going to be a lot of people out there who thought they knew the author, thought they knew things behind the book series, who thought they knew the series really, really well. And you're going to be very surprised at some stuff you read in here. And it is a very, very good read. So, my personal opinion, I give the book 5 stars. It's 5 out of 5 easily. This book is absolutely amazing. It's not just the newest Wheel of Time piece of the puzzle that we've gotten in the last couple of years. It's not just because it's the only Wheel of Time book that's come out in the last little bit other than the companion. This was really, really very interesting. I love background on things. I love reading about how things came to be, and I love reading about how things were put together and inspired, and this book does all of that. And I think it was done in a really smart and well thought out way. Now, who do I think it's for? Well, is it for the hardcore Wheel of Time fan? Absolutely. If you've read the series a bunch of times, you eat, live, breathe, and sleep the Wheel of Time, you need this book. It's just a no-brainer. You absolutely need it. The more casual Wheel of Time fans, maybe you've watched the show a little bit, maybe you're just getting into the series. If you like background, if you like history, and if you like knowing the hows and whys, this book is for you, 100%. If you don't really care too much about that stuff, maybe this isn't your cup of tea, but I would definitely still recommend picking it up after you've read the series to go back through, because there's a lot of stuff to learn in here that's new, and it can be very, very interesting to read about the author's life and what he's inspired by. So let me know in the comments down below, are you folks going to pre-order the book? Have you already pre-ordered the book? Are you excited for it? And do you plan on picking it up at some point or another? I know I was really excited to get it. Like I said, I've read it, I think 4 times now, and I'll probably read it a 5th and a 6th and a 7th. I've got to catch up to my reads of the series. A lot of really cool, neat stuff here. And I want to thank all of you so very much for sticking with me here to the very end. Here's to many more.